nothing and everything.
Well, hello, Gary.
Oh, man.
I think Gary's been watching too many TikTok videos.
Speaking of
So how's it
TikTok,
going, boys?
Far.
Near. So, gentlemen, as we still cannot figure out who sent us this letter.
that's driving me crazy.
It's driving me crazy. But funny thing is, we were sitting Sunday. Katie's family always has a big sliding party. So anyway, we were sitting there, and I was telling Katie's uncle about it, and he was laughing like everybody else does, saying, "I wished I thought about that," or "I wished I had thought of or done that." Everybody seems to be on the same wavelength. But
Yeah.
and I showed my mother-in-law the
Dad
picture,
said the same
and I was
thing,
like,
just so you know.
"Well, yeah."
I did put the gears to him there tonight.
I'm impressed with whoever did it, because truth is, if I had thought about it to do it to someone, you would do it anyway. She's like looking at the picture, and I'm like, well, I got the second letter, and here's the signature. And she looked at me and she goes, "You know what?" I said, "What?" She goes, "I bet Donald Trump sent you that." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And then I look at the signature, and I'm like, that says Donald Trump. So then I Googled it as quick as I could go and matched them side by side. And I'm like, Donald Trump coming after me about gravy. This is how it all started. Started with the Bush League podcast and worked his way up.
And he's been in Blackville sending you mail.
Asshole.
Donald Trump signature on the second page, certified by Beckett.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. So it's Trump.
So yeah, it was Trump, and I was like, how, what, how, why? Like, this doesn't make any sense. But I don't know how he missed it. Like, I even Googled the image to see, like, did a look on it to see, all right, well, it's got to be, you know what I mean? Like, just it's got to be this, or it's got to be that, or anyway,
Yeah.
It never popped up. But as soon as she said it, and you look at the image, you realize it says Donald Trump, and I was like, that just drives me even nuttier now.
I never looked at it closely enough, to be honest. Like,
Well, I did. I just kept
everything
staring.
else was fake. I just assumed it was too. And you were like, no, it's just the signature, like yours sincerely or whatever. And a
Yeah, and
signature,
it's
I
just
can't make
scribble.
out what it is. And I was like, okay. Like, it never.
No,
If you couldn't make it out, it didn't cross my mind to be like, let me see that. You know what I mean? As
Right.
if I was going to be able to make it out.
Yeah, right.
Tyson's the guy from Pawn Stars that comes in and goes, this signature
Yeah.
is legitimate.
So many layers to this thing.
Yeah. If it had been a wrestling autograph, I would have been able to tell you right well who it was. But, you know,
Well, yeah.
presidents of the United States of America, peaches, I can't tell you.
Maybe this is how he's sneaking his way in. He's attacking the little guy first.
So I did get asked Sunday night at dinner, as if I do know. They're like, okay, so who sent the letters? And I said, I don't know. And like my niece, right? Liv listens to every one of these. She's like, so who sent the letters? I was like, but I don't know. I don't know who. You guys haven't figured it out? It's like, no, we're not kidding. We don't know.
We do not know.
No, we don't know.
Like, this is not
This
something
is
we
the
put
problem
on.
we have.
Yeah, we don't know who it is.
And whoever it is, kudos for keeping kayfabe. Like, well done.
We're just a bunch of dumb marks.
We are a bunch of mercs. Whoever it is sitting back and laughing.
I just, like, how long? Like, forever? We're just going to do this forever.
Well, no one's fessing up. And that's the part that drives me crazy.
Well,
Now I'm going to have to start putting that friggin' letter through some kind of decrypting program to see if there's keywords or something crazy
I'm
like that.
low-key holding on here because if they haven't admitted it to you and told you yet, then I'm wondering, so is there something else coming? Is there another letter coming? Is
Yeah.
there more gravy
Is there a
coming?
grand
Is something-
reveal?
Easter?
You know what I mean?
ham
Easter's
gravy?
coming up. Yeah, like I'm wondering.
Listen, when the gravy czar comes into power, that's
Gravy
when
czar.
we'll find out who it is.
T-shirt available now on the Bush League podcast website.
I mean, it is Trump doing this, so it makes sense.
just don't picture Trump going after the gravy hater, but he goes after everybody else. He doesn't discriminate.
You may as well go after you too.
Why does he go after me?
Lumber, steel, gravy.
Yikes.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's
So
absolutely
not
insane.
a clue. Still trying to figure it out. Every day I honestly look at the letter at least once a day to go, there has to be a clue in here somewhere. No. I just assumed it was all of you.
No.
It doesn't drive me as crazy as you, but it is driving me crazy. Like,
Same. I'm sympathetic with Jay. It's driving me crazy, but I'm not the one getting letters, and I like gravy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right? Yeah. The gravy
of
lovers
fact-
are fine.
I had gravy on Sunday, so, you know.
Wait, I'm being discriminated against.
I had some last night.
You had some last night, oh
I
boy.
did.
Attaboy.
I barely
gravy
ever
train.
think about the letters, but when I do, I have a nice little chuckle.
You would.
Yes, sir.
You would. That's awesome.
So,
I had Taylor Shea Screen was here at my house last week. He has a new band.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wicked name, by the way.
Yeah, Direwolf. We should
Direwolf.
have them on the show.
Yeah.
We should.
They're kind of like a modern sounding Metallica kind of. It's kind of thrashy, but like more modern. They have
Okay.
some teasers up on their Facebook page. It sounds pretty good. Anyways, so he randomly messaged me the other last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, and says just random, but like you wouldn't know anyone in Moncton like with a garage that me and my band could use, but it has to have like 0 windows. And I was like, I have one that meets that criteria.
You are in luck, sir.
And he's like, oh, really? He's like, would you mind if we used it to take some band photos? And I was like, no, I'd be happy with that.
No negotiation on percentages here, Jay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I made big off this one. But anyways,
3 packs of gravy.
so I sent him some pictures and I was like, this is what it looks like. I mean, send it to your photographer guy and but you're more than welcome. I mean, it's fine. So he's like, yeah, okay, we'll let you know. So the next day he's like, yeah, he's like, right, we're going to, if you're still good with it, he said, we're going to use it. He said, but it'd be like at 3:00 on a Friday. And I was like, yeah, no problem. I can like work from home in the afternoon or something and I'll be around. He's like, well, what can I pay you? And I was like, nothing. Don't care. Are you bringing your stuff? Are you going to do a show?
I want a personal concert.
Yeah. So anyways, he's like, well, I feel bad. I should give you something. I said, well, it's Friday. I said, stop by Little Caesars and get me a 12-inch street meat.
Yes, sir. Now we're
Attaboy.
talking.
So he did. He shows up.
He did.
He did, yeah. Him, the photographer, show up. He gives me a pizza.
You can see the photographer going, this is how you guys deal in pizza.
Yeah.
Anyways,
This is our currency.
all of this to say, the reason I brought it up was, they're all in the garage and a great group of guys. The bass player saw, so I have on my wall in the garage, Heather years ago made me it's like a compilation of all the Dream Theater albums, and she made it for me a long time ago. And what's going on up there? Are you all right? Did you fart? You're going like this?
Tyson's doing something.
I'm not going to be all right, but I can't tell you either. So,
Okay.
Something just happened off screen.
yeah.
It's the gravy person.
Right
Anyways,
around the
so he sees this. He sees that nice thing that Heather made. I'm thought like years ago. I don't remember. She might remember when. And he's like, "Oh, are you a Dream Theater guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh man, check this out." And he shows me a picture of. He went and saw them somewhere. And
Oh, man. Please let Metal Fliz be in his photo. Please.
I never got to tell him that story, but Metal Flies. I love it. Remember the email all these
Of course
years?
I do. Well, I was looking at the picture. Heather made me one too. I was looking at it the other day.
Oh, man. Anyways.
For the record, she didn't make me one.
Just us. Oh,
That's
gosh.
even better.
That thing lives on, and it's in the wall of my garage. And
Gary, you a little bitter?
anyways, long story long, he sees this thing and he's like, "Oh, check this out." He shows me a picture of his 6-string bass that he got autographed by all of them because he went and saw them somewheres, and he paid. He's like, "You know what? I don't know if I'm going to do this again." He paid for the VIP thing, so like got to meet them and stuff. Brought his bass, had them all sign it, so he was a pretty big fan. Anyways, all that to say, I said to Taylor when he was here, I said, "Is that really not you that sent Cameron those Gary packets and the letter?" He's like, "I'm dead serious. It was not me." He said, "It's so funny. I didn't do it."
I'm starting to think we need a polygraph here eventually. I think polygraph needs to be pulled out.
Oh dear.
Well, I gave Dad the gears pretty good. And for a while, he was egging me on. I was like, "Dad, did you honestly send the letters?" And finally, he was like, "What letters?" And just like I told you, he hadn't listened to the last 5 or 6 episodes, right?
Yeah. And it wouldn't be my father because he just wouldn't do something like that.
But that's the only thing I'm hanging on to is either A, like someone would have admitted it by now, or B, they haven't admitted it because they have other plans for you.
Yeah, there is more to come. Yeah.
Because if you were done, you would just like, here we are 3 episodes later, which means we're almost 3 months later. It would be like, haha, it was me. But they haven't. You know what I mean? So
Someone's a diabolical genius.
oh, it's hilarious.
One lab experiment away from supervillain.
Yeah.
Or
Wow.
one gravy accident away.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
are you okay?
Oh yeah, I never told him.
For those listening, he's not looking so great.
Well, Gary, your guess was 100% correct. Anyways, I sent the link like 15 minutes early because I forgot I said 8:30. I thought it was still 8, and I lost track of time, so I panicked because I was outside shoveling and cleaning the yard. So I flew in the house. I was like, "Oh no!" And I came in here, plucked down, and sent the link. And like my pants are still soaking wet. Like my hair. Anyways, that's why I look like this. So like Gary hops on. He's like, "You look like you just came in from shoveling." And I was
Gary's
like, "Yeah."
I know that look.
And I just realized that I'm 15 minutes early.
So why'd you go at that point if you knew you had 15 minutes?
Because my back's sore and I'm tired, and I sat down like this, and I was just like, "All right, this is what you get."
Oh, man.
Yep. Yeah, can confirm.
I am at
Last
that
night-
age.
I went out last night, and Dougie always plows our driveway, and I always shovel like the step off and where the oil tank is and that path out in front of my house. But I also do Dougie's deck. Like, he has a deck in the back of his house, and I do a trail over to the deck and do his deck all out. And last night I was shoveling and I wasn't really paying attention, and I got done at 4:30. It's like, oh well, it's not going to take me that long. Like, really? Give me an hour, I'll be fine. Anyway, I'm kind of humming along, not paying attention, and all of a sudden I'm kind of looking around and I'm like, it's getting a little dark. And, it must just be in my head. So anyway, I'm shoveling along. All of a sudden the lights flick on at Dougie's, because Dougie has like these string lights outside. Scared me half to death. And I was like, looked around and Dougie's wife waves, and I was like, "Oh,
I'm
hey."
scared of
So I
light too,
keep
buddy.
shoveling.
I'm scared of light
All of
too.
a sudden, Dougie's son comes out and he starts helping me. I'm like, "Hey, Kyler." He goes, "Hey." I said, "What are you doing?" "I kind of felt bad for you. You've been out here for a while." I was like, "Kyler, I've only been out here an hour." He goes, what time do you think it is? I'm like, came out at 4:30. He goes, it's 6:30. I'm like, that would explain why my back was hurting so bad.
Wow.
Doing snow.
He's watching you going on to hour 2, and he's like, "Holy jeevers!"
I was wondering why my I was wondering kind of like why I was slowing down and why I was getting sore. I'm like, I shouldn't be getting sore. I've only been out here an hour. No, and I'm not young, so yeah, no.
Well, you have a pretty long driveway to.
No, I don't do the driveway. No, Dougie. No. I used to do when I had a little snowblower. Mom and Dad got me years ago, and it was what we call a Vancouver or a BC kind of snowblower.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
Oh, it's electric?
No, it's a Briggs and Stratton, but the shovel can throw it further. Anyway, one year before we had the plows, Dougie had a plow and I had a plow. I used to snow blow it, and it really would. It would take 4.5 hours just to do the driveway with this little snowblower. Like, took forever. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad those days are over. But the problem is, it was the friction wheel inside of it wears. So I start losing gears. So it has 6 gears. When you start out, you can do it in first, and you're doing pretty good speed. And suddenly, first doesn't move, and you got to pop it in a second, and second works for a little while, and you just keep losing the gears. So when you get to 6th, you're like, I need to get this fixed because I've just lost every gear because there's a piece of rubber inside, and it grinds away until it doesn't connect. So it's like
6th gear. You're just like you're running with it at that point,
dragging you behind.
No,
it's got the Cosworth.
because the friction wheel, when it's rotating, it's supposed to be grabbing, and as it wears down, it just. You got to push it further.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so you lose a gear and then you go into second, and it's like, oh, I'm back at first, and then
it'd be funny if you're at 6th and it just all of a sudden grabs.
I did once put it in third. Put it in 6th. I wasn't paying attention years ago, and when I hit it, it went, and I went forward with it, and yeah, that wasn't fun. But
so if Dougie does all the driveway, what were you doing for 2 hours?
That's where I was going.
The steps.
I was cleaning
That's where
steps.
I was going.
Doing the tunnel to my building, doing the walkway in front of my house, which is the length of my house. Cleaned up the oil tank, and then Dougie has a fairly large deck in the back.
The tunnel to your building?
Well, I wasn't going to do the whole thing. Yeah, I have a little baby barn in the back, and I wasn't going to do the whole length of a car. I'm like,
doesn't he seem like the guy that have a tunnel
to his building?
I have a tunnel to my building. I wish I had it in the basement, but
the tunnel.
Wow.
I'd love to have a tunnel. That'd be wicked.
I just thought you did, by the way you said.
No, I tunneled to it. Just made a path.
I see.
And I'm old. Leave me alone.
Man, on the old thing, there's no judgment for me because I was sick all weekend, and then it snowed, right? So I think between me coughing hard, and I wasn't coughing often, but when I did cough, I coughed hard. And then I shoveled the boys' entire rink off in one walkway, and they were out to help me. But today, my ribs on one side are so sore. Like if you feel a cough coming, you just brace yourself. And I went out without the boys this morning, like, nah, they shoveled it yesterday again. I'm going to shovel all this. You know what I mean? I got to the deck in front of the garage done, and I'm like, nope. I'm out. Every time I swing that shovel, it's like it feels like a rib's going to come right out of my side. I was like, no, I'm done. I can't do it.
Well, Gary's driveway is what?
My driveway is 4-car driveway, I would say, but it's at like a 45-degree angle.
I was just going to say a 45.
Yeah, yours is a pretty steep. It's a fairly steep slope too.
It is, yeah.
Gary telling the story of running out to talk to that contractor and his laces fetching up.
It's one of the best.
It's still one of the best stories I've ever heard on here.
This year I needed new boots, so I went out and got boots, and they were the same style boots as I had back then.
Yeah.
It's the first boots I've had like that since, that have the hooks on the top of them and stuff. And I was like, nope, I'm never going out untied again.
No.
And lately I've been letting down my guard the last couple of weeks. It's like, just going outside. I'm not going to tie them.
That's
I keep thinking of that.
Oh, man.
I'm surprised you were actually out snowblowing though, Jay. I thought you were always the just drive over the snow and pat it down guy.
I did this morning.
I
can't be bothered to deal with that because school was canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So, and anyway, so usually when the weather's bad, I just say, whatever. I'll drive Trish to work. We go almost the same time. We're done almost the same time, and drive Gabe to daycare for the day. And man, and I saw the plow had gone by last night. I figured it would, and she's like, "Are you gonna go clean that out before we go?" And I'm like, "Nope." Don't care. Not dealing with that right now. I'll deal with that when I have time. And then rush for this podcast. But my neighbor was out blowing his. He was obviously going to be late, but he's out doing his. And so then he looks over and sees the garage open, and then I come back flying out. I was like, I can do it I can do it 2-wheel drive. So I left it 2-wheel drive and I hit it and I go boom. So he looks over and he's just like laughing. So I put it in 4-wheel drive and it goes away, and I just kind of wave at him. As if to say, yeah, you're doing the right thing. I'm not. I get it.
Too funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's just because you do that, and then you're like, I know there's going to be the 2 big packed parts where I'm going to have to scrape that all down, and I still do it every time.
But I still do it. Yeah, but at least your car is in a garage when you can drive out of.
Yes.
So that's a big perk.
I'm very conscious of that. And now when I'm driving around, I drive around now. I'm like, oh, they have a garage. There's no snow on the car. They got no snow in their car. That guy.
I do the same thing.
His car.
True story.
Then you drive by the guy that's got an F-250 and the snow is like a mound on the back of his truck. You're like, yep, he just shoveled all the snow into the back of his truck.
Yeah. Anyways, I hate snow. I was saying to a guy today though, I'm sitting here thinking, man, this has been a bad winter, but really it's kind of been like a normal winter.
It's actually been pretty.
And we're just in
like bad 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's been condensed. It's been very.
Well, the last storm, I was out talking to Dougie, so I got in while he was plowing, and he said, hop in. I said, sure. So I have a clothesline that goes across the backyard, right? So Dougie could drive right underneath it, and half of the truck was past this clothesline. Today, when he come and pushed the snow, it was about a truck length before the clothesline already. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of snow.
It is a lot of snow.
This is a maritime conversation.
It's a very,
that's for sure.
It's a very maritime conversation.
And when I go to work, we just talk about snowblowers. We talk about what do we go this way or do we start this way? Do we do a double and back, or do we always go back and do?
It's like mowing. It's like mowing a yard. Everybody has their way of doing it, their own style, their own pace.
See, the guy built a house right next door to me this year. It's my first winter with him there. So when I go out to snowblow now and I go to one side of the driveway, there's a car about 6 feet away from me.
Yeah.
So selfish. He's so selfish.
Well, with that, this is my first winter in our new place. And I think I told you this before, but the guy who lived here previously thought it would be awesome to put rocks on the edges of the driveway, and even out on the sidewalk on the property. There's it's probably 8 inches wide of river rock,
beach
smooth
rock, yeah.
So all winter,
it's gonna go.
Yeah, especially the first few snows.
You're picking them up all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go out and put those markers if you want, but they're still going to find their way in the driveway. So you get to the edge, and it's clank, 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 and you're like, japers, scrapers, and one day, one day, my neighbor, like I wasn't thinking about it, and like I just had the chute pointed like a little too close to her house, and then I realized kind of what was going on, and I was like, "Oof." That'd have been a fire of rock through the window or something like.
Hello, neighbor.
Anyways, yeah. Oh yeah. Anyways, this guy. Anyway, and it's my own fault because I was like, I'm gonna get rid of them, and then all of a sudden it was snowing, and then I'm like, well,
yep.
There goes that chance.
I got lots of time. It's summer. Lots of time.
Yeah.
I saw a video just the other day of a guy that had that, and he mixed up this epoxy spray in a pump bottle. And he sprayed over top of all the rocks and just had a glove on and mixed them all up and sprayed them one more time. And none of the rocks come up anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And it kept that look. And he did it all in like 1 hour. He did this whole strip. Yeah.
Maybe I just concrete encase them. Put a big. Maybe that's the move.
That's you just fill them in, Jay. Do it. Fill them in.
So I've always been the guy that just does the path.
Yep.
First, so you can get the car out. But now he's got these car right beside me, so I've had to rejig everything. Now I got to start at one side of the driveway and work my way the whole way over.
Oh no! So by the time you get to the far end, you've got like 6 extra inches of the stuff that you blew.
Yeah.
Yep. And I just got the little Vancouver electric snowblower. I can't handle that extra.
It was really inconsiderate of them, Gary.
You should go hammer on the door. You gonna come help me with this? Is this your fault?
You built here.
I didn't have to do this before you built your house here.
Last year, Dad
has a tractor. He doesn't even have a blower, so he doesn't even know what I'm going through.
Oh wow! Nice.
He has a tractor?
Yeah, he built the house. He's a builder.
Tell him to come do yours.
Yeah.
I think he did do it when we were in Florida.
Couple of bucks.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Saw some $20 a storm or something like that and save yourself all
That was the first storm. That was before I started chucking any snow at his truck, but hasn't been over since.
Oh gosh.
You just buried it. Very purposely fired it all right at us.
Funny.
Gary's like, just trying to be neighborly, trying to share. Hold the share.
Man, at least he could leave you the keys. That'd be nice.
Right? I don't know, man. Some people are pretty fussy about the tractors.
I know what you mean, but if this guy's a builder, I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, go ahead, whatever. You know what I mean? He's probably one of those kind of guys.
My luck, I'd drive it through the garage door or something.
Okay, so
looks like there's a little bit more room there. I can get that.
Okay, I did years ago, as Gary's telling that story, I did that exact thing. So Dad and Mom were gone on a trip somewhere, and I was taking Dad's tractor, and it has so Dad is overkill. Anybody who's ever heard me talk about Dad is like Tyson's dad, overkill.
So it's his father's fault, is what I'm hearing.
So instead of having a bucket on the front of his truck, or in the front of his truck, he has a truck plow in the front of his tractor and a blower in the back, which is a little excessive, but whatever. Anyway, I was doing the whole yard. I had blown it out, and he got this new blower, and he's like, "Listen, just be really careful with this blower." I was like, "Oh, why?" He goes, "Because I think you can actually hit the neighbor's driveway." Now, the neighbor's driveway is across their whole yard, then the driveway from my parents' house. So I was like, you really can't do that. He's so crazy. So I turned it on, and it was almost hitting the neighbor's other driveway, which is probably 50-ish feet. So I was like, okay, can't do that. Anyway, did the whole yard, was doing really good. I was like, all right, now I'm going to park this thing. So I was just trying along, and I keep forgetting in my head. Dad kept saying, "Listen, if you lift the front of if you lift the bucket up, that blade is going to be about an extra 2 feet farther than you think." I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." Anyway, I went to swing it in the parking place. Dad has this a dome, like one of those like those domes that have a covering. Sure enough, let's just hit the side of her. It was just parking it I had finished everything, didn't hit anything. Swung it and tore the whole side of it. Boom. I was like, yeah, here we go. Anyway, got out, looked at it. I'm like, yep, that's surely bent and that's surely broken. Anyway, Dad comes home. He goes, hey, you did a really good job. I said, yeah, you might want to come in the backyard. He goes, he said, did you hit the house? I'm like, no, I didn't hit the house. He said, did you hit the garage? I'm like, nope, didn't hit the garage.
You remember the day I was born and how proud and happy you were?
He should, because it's his birthday.
I want you to remember those things.
Hard to forget your son's birthday when it's your own birthday. Yeah, I swung it, and as I was turning it, I was like, I got an extra 2 feet. And I heard crunch. Oh, no. Yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, trying to help him fix it. Finally, he just said, I don't think we can. I was like, oh, yeah, we can fix that. So it looked like a zigzag. It was broken on. I was like, no, I thought we could bend it. Dad goes, if we bend that, it's just going to make it worse. No, you grab it on this side, I'll grab it on that side. As soon as I did it, I kinked it the other way, which broke it more. So I was like, yeah, I'm done.
That whole last 3 sentences that Cam said. That's what she said.
Make that the real
T-shirt.
Make that the real with no context.
We both grab on to one end there, little zigzag.
Went it the other way and kinked him. It is not a bone. It will not chip or break. I think I broke Tyson again. Man down.
Speaking of which, there's a giant asteroid headed towards Earth, eh?
Here we go.
I was like, what was that thing I was going to tell all the boys about?
Good segue.
2032, we're all going to die, eh?
It's only 8 more years of snowblowing, guys.
I'm just going to sit back and watch it.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to stop snowblowing. What's the point?
So what year is that supposed to hit?
2032. And I mean, if it's half as cool as the eclipse was, you know.
How big is it?
Well, so they're supposed to in March, they are supposed to be aiming the James Webb Space Telescope at it to determine the size. Until then, they don't know if it's a really shiny 40 meters or a dull 90 meters based on the shininess of the thing.
Wait a minute. Hold it. Okay, so at 40 meters, which is not bad, 90 meters is not bad. Could we not just send one rocket at it and it'd be done?
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like...
Well, it could go a million different directions by then.
But like if you send a rocket at it, when do you think the rocket will meet it?
Long before I care.
Like usually these things flying in from space are traveling at like, I don't know, 300,000 kilometers an hour or some kind of thing. I mean, I don't know if we're going to
get 100 mile an hour
big rocket.
Yeah, very fast one.
Just
launch it with Cameron's dad's snowblower.
Just cover the spread.
Savior of the world.
In the snowblower we trust.
Cameron out snowblowing accidentally chucks a rock into space and saves the universe.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
The world powers are all together trying to talk, and they're like, "What are we gonna do?" And one guy's like, "I know a guy in Sunny Corner." So they're at your dad's house with an ICBM trying to stuff it in this snowblower.
Now listen, if we point this in the right direction, don't worry, we got it. We'll just.
I heard this thing could fire it into the neighbor's yard, and the driveway's on the far side of the property.
This is on the far side of the moon.
Wow.
Oh dear. But what 2% chance it could hit? The last I saw.
I like them odds. I would say it would be, those odds are astronomical, but
they are literally the definition of astronomical.
Nicely played.
But I don't know. So they're gonna find out in March, I guess, how big this thing really is, and I think like, if it's like closer to the 100-meter size, they say impact would be like, I don't know, quite a bit more than like like the Hiroshima nuke. You'd be quite a bit bigger than that. So
okay, no. Can I just? Where is it going to hit?
yeah,
I
don't know where the limits of these things are.
Many governments might be perhaps working on ways of controlling that.
Yeah, exactly. They might be firing rockets.
It's not going to hit the States because Trump would charge it a tariff on the way into the atmosphere. So
Space Force deal with that if they're not all fired by then.
Yeah.
And you'd be talking to it and say, we're the greatest country in the world.
Yeah.
We're the best. Can't hurt us.
America has the biggest asteroids.
We'll send Elon up to go get it.
What? You turned Scottish? Cameron
Elon
in the
needs to
accent.
recognize his laird.
We'll send Elon up to go get it. It'll be great.
Any way to
Make
put that
America great again.
We'll get that pot of gold.
25% asteroid tax.
No, 45.
Oh,
It's a
Just
cumulative.
because.
cumulative tax.
But to your point, Tyson, like I enjoy this stuff. I just laugh at like we found out that there's an asteroid that's gonna hit. There's a chance it could hit. And it's like we can do these precise things. We can put a rover on Mars, and we can do all the math to get that thing to land in such a way that not only did it get there, but it landed intact
In one piece.
and work. But then it's like, they must know like pretty close where this thing's gonna hit. They can do all the math and be like, okay, by that time at this speed, Earth's gonna be here, face this way, it's gonna hit there, and it's like, no, don't know.
Don't know.
Or they do know and they're not saying.
Well, and that's
Kind of what I was thinking.
yeah,
Oh, look,
maybe,
right in the
maybe
middle
it's
of the
gonna
White
hit
House.
New York, like you know what I mean? Like
Nobody seems to be overly concerned about it, if that gives any hints. But
yeah.
Yeah.
I think
There's a lot bigger fish to fry a little closer to
There's a
home,
lot-
Gary.
There's a lot oranger fish to fry right now, that's for sure.
A lot of Cheetos.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, boys.
Governor Trump. What did he say? Trump say the other day about Trudeau? Did he say Governor Trudeau?
Mhm.
Oh
what he calls
yeah.
him.
At the start of the whole thing. Yeah.
Governor Trudeau. It'd be great to have them as the 51st state. As I come across the border. We'll see how welcomed you are with a bunch of drunken Canadians.
I can't even I'll just get my blood pressure up.
Oh, I know. It's just crazy. He's just talking nuts.
It's so
Yeah.
gosh.
Maybe the meteor will hit.
I'd like to hear about what Cameron would do if he came across the border.
Oh, Trump?
Yeah, what would you
Tell
do?
him he's in Mexico and tell him he needs to go the other way. He probably doesn't know which way he's going. He wouldn't know up from down at this point.
like, I'm a Mexican. It's a me.
They call me Mexican sweater.
That's Canadian sweater.
Cameron's like, it's a me, it's a Mexican. And he's like, no, it's not, it's Ladislav Tretiak.
I know a Russian when I see one.
We're supposed to be your friend. Yeah.
Wow.
Tell him he's in Mexico. Turn him right around.
Yeah, he wouldn't understand us. I love Mexico. It's beautiful here. There's lots of snow.
I like these accents.
I'm terrible at accents. I don't care.
That's great. That's awesome.
It's actually the only reason why I want this piece to keep going is to see how many more accents there are.
No doubt.
Oh, you've reached Mexico.
Hey, Cameron, he traveled too far and now he's in Greenland. What did they say there?
Get out. Didn't hear what the Dane said in the Parliament?
The what?
You didn't
What
hear
did he sound like?
what the Danish guy said in the Parliament? He was he told Trump to F off, and then they didn't realize until the guy translates. He goes, "We don't. We like you hear the guy had the headphone in. He listened to what the translator must have been translating. He goes, "Oh, we don't use that kind of language. You really shouldn't have said that." I'm like, go away.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, you go on YouTube, and the guy tells him to F off. Again,
Wow.
Trump wouldn't understand. He wants Greenland because he thinks it's green. When he shows up and it's white, he'd be like, "Oh, I must be in the wrong place."
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Oh, boys.
Yeah.
Well, I nearly had a catastrophe on the weekend.
Okay, I've been
1%
waiting.
chance?
Like I keep pausing because I'm like, is he going to tell this or what?
Well, because I
Why?
keep
What did you do
chickening out
now?
of telling it. I didn't do it. It was
Now you put your foot in it.
okay. So
What did you almost do?
for a school teacher this week, it's been real weird. And just know, like, I know you'll know this means nothing now, but it will at the end. Your schedule's just dramatically off. Do you know what I mean? In every way, shape, and form. But Thursday was a snow day.
Yes.
And then Friday arguably could have been a snow day, but they did this weird 2-hour delay start thing. And so then all of my classes were only 30 minutes. And for some of them, one of them in particular, they work in the theater and then they didn't get their theater stuff done because we didn't get an hour. And anyway, yada, yada, yada. So Saturday, we're in there for the day. And this shouldn't matter, but normally our Saturday would be 9 to 3. At 3 o'clock, go home. 3:30 at the latest because it took us a little longer to clean up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
I had to go a little early. I did not eat breakfast. Didn't have anything. Got a coffee mid-morning. There was an event for Black History Month in the school, and they were running it, and other teachers were supposed to be there and stuff. You following me still?
Sure.
So when 3 o'clock hits, we're not done the stuff we're supposed to build. So we're a little behind. And it was like, all right, well, half the kids said they could stay. And one of them in particular, one of Mikhail's friends, like, well, if you can drive me home, my mom's here now to pick up my sister. But if you can drive me home, I can stay. Okay?
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
3:30 hits, 4 o'clock hits, 4:30 hits. And between 4 and 4:30, it's like, okay, so we're just clean up, guys. Like, I'll make sure everyone's out of here. Just clean up. The event out there is supposed to be over at 4. I walk out there. They're not done. They're cleaning up. Their event is over, but they're not done. I find one of the students and I said, where is everybody? And she says to me, what do you mean? Because this was a student-run event. Now, keep in mind, they needed a chaperone, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was a misunderstanding or something, but everyone left. So I said to her, just to be clear, like, am I the only one with a set of keys? And she said, yeah. So I was it. I was the only teacher left in the building, and I wasn't even out there with them. I was in the theater waiting to go. So they kept cleaning up. And then it was 4:30, and then it was 20 to 5. And then at 4:45, I said to the boys, it's just me and Mikhail and Mikhail's friend Vinny left. I sent everybody else home. I said, go home. We're sitting in the theater. It's like, all right, guys, well, let's, with our coats on and stuff, like, let's go walk out front. We'll lock everything up. We'll be seen. You know what I mean? We got to go. So they're out there still kind of cleaning, but they're mostly talking and kind of cleaning. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, why aren't they rushed? Now, mind you, they just completely student run, impressive. Like, I can't say enough about the day they just put on, and the students booked everything and they did everything themselves. And they, you know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of work. So I'm not exactly rushing them either. They've been there since 9 themselves, and they had a. So finally, I had to walk by, and I shut off the library lights and everything. And Vinny, Mikhail's friend, it's 5:00, and Theriault, I got to go. I said, what do you mean? He said, I have to work at 6. He had never mentioned to me that he had to go to work.
Oh, wow.
And we're in Chatham, and he has to go to work in Newcastle. Okay, so and he hasn't eaten or anything. So like just know that I thought I was going home. So I'll preface this with, at lunch, no one could make up their mind where they wanted to eat for lunch. So I sent one of the young lads who had their license. I said, will you just go grab me a couple of the stupid Irving hot dogs, and I'll have a coffee or whatever. And Gary's already laughing. So keep in mind,
boy.
So boys, these hot dogs, every time I
stay
eat
with
them,
you long.
no, I'm filled with regret. And Gopi likes them too. And he's like, yeah, but they do taste good. And here's the thing is they're not bad for a gas station hot dog, right? But every time I regret it, because every time my stomach's upset. And my rationale today was, I don't know what else to eat. I don't have time to eat. This is nice and quick. We're leaving at 3. We did not leave at 3. So, you know what I mean? And now it's 5:00. And finally I walked by and they were sitting there talking, and they still had some bags in their hands or whatever. So they must have just been finishing. I said, do any of you guys know how to lock up? Like, if I have to go, like, can you set the alarm when you go? I said, I'll lock all the doors. You just have to, you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, no, we can go. So that put the run to them, and, you know, God bless them. They worked all day or whatever. And out the door they went, and we left at 5:15.
Oh, woo.
So poor Vinny, I drive him home. It's past our place. And I said, Vinny, if you want me to drive you to work, you run in, grab yourself a bite, whatever, get changed. I will sit here for you, because Amanda needed some groceries picked up for supper. That was at 3:00. It is now 5:20.
Okay.
So Amanda and Maddox have not eaten yet, because I'm not home with the groceries I was supposed to get for supper, and it's now 5:20. So I said, Vinny, like, no, I'm going to go to Sobeys anyway. So if you just want to go in, get changed, whatever, come out. And so we sat in his driveway for 10 minutes, and he called Mikhail and said, no, Mom said she'd drive me over in a bit. I don't got to be there for another 20 minutes, because he was going 10 minutes early, right? He said, thanks, but you guys go ahead. So now it's 5:30. So if you're clocking my hot dog scenario here.
Yeah. I'm thinking we're getting to mission critical here.
Yeah. So, and I can't believe I'm going to talk about this, because I know I've got kids that listen to this, and it's going to be so. Anyway. So I call Amanda. I said, is there anything else you need at the grocery store? And then she's, you know, like, are you just getting there now? And I'm like, yep. And I'm kind of telling her the story. Like, it's, you know how, like, you're not mad at anybody. It's a bunch of events lined up.
Yeah. It's
almost like doomsday. Yeah. It's the perfect scenario. You know what I mean? And so I drive over to Sobeys. And after I got off the phone with Amanda, I said, Mikhail, my stomach, oh my gosh. Like, just, you know, when your stomach feels like it's rolling on itself. Like, what did you do to me? Black coffee and 2 Irving hot dogs.
Sounds like a meal I once had at a takeout with a bunch of fish.
Well,
anyway, go on.
1 in 6 people, black coffee does that too anyway. On top of that, 9 and 10 people, Irving hot dogs do it too.
You just increase the likelihood by about 55%.
So I pulled into the Sobeys parking lot. I sat there for a second. I sighed. And I said to Mikhail, you stay here. I'm going to see how quick I can do this. With my stomach. I was the rudest person in that Sobeys. I was so stinking rude. Like, I have to go to a bathroom. And I'm walking the aisles, and I'm grabbing what she needs, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm in the small Newcastle Sobeys. I don't think there's a public bathroom here like there is in the other one.
There is.
Okay. But either way, a public washroom is not going to suffice for what I'm going to need to do.
This
hit the point where you got the sweats yet? Or
oh yeah, I'm starting to sweat.
Like you were out snowblowing for an hour.
Yeah, so I'm starting. And so anyway, I ran into a teacher from MV. I was so rude. And it wasn't me trying to be rude. It was like, hey, how are you? I'm like, yep. Like I can't help it. And
Gotta go.
like I should almost message him and apologize, but what do I say? Like I'm sorry. Like I really had to go. And I ran and got the groceries. And you know how like you have a couple, if you've ever been in that state, like it still wasn't the worst I had ever had yet. I was still in that state of like, all right, take a deep breath. All right, you're going to make it. You're fine. And then 30 seconds go by and like, nope. You're not fine. You're not fine. Okay, take a deep breath. If I pretend I don't have to, is it just going to go? It's been all day. It's been all day. So like the reason I go all the way back to the snow days, if the snow days don't happen, we're not at the school as long on Saturday anyway. Do you know what I mean? And if the snow days don't happen, I have a bunch of other stuff done. And if the snow days don't happen, so like I don't know how to, like let's everybody... There's a book, right? When they're little, like everybody poops. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yes. I know that book.
I'm a very regular dude, and my schedule is whacked. It's messed. It's all like I have not, you know what I mean? Like I'm off. So just know it's like the perfect storm of, you know, that movie Perfect Storm, like the three water, you know, like warm fronts are hitting in the same. Yeah.
Warm fronts.
Oh, so.
The tidal wave.
So I go through the cash, and of course I get the slowest cashier. Like, would you like a bag today? Do you have your scene card with you?
How is
there anything else? Were you able to find everything today? And so just put it in the paper bag.
Gotta go.
Get me out of here.
Now,
So
in all
then, like-
fairness, she could have been doing things at a normal speed, but the way the theory of relativity works when you're in that situation is time is slower from your perspective.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really nice of you, Jay. But she was slow. So then I leave there. Cameron's been in that Sobeys. I leave there, and if anybody blocks the aisle, you can't get, like when you're going to leave. And here's this little old lady who stops dead. And it's not like she stopped dead in the middle. If you're off to one side, you can barely get around them anyway. For whatever reason, they've got this very narrow, and she's looking at her receipt. And she's sitting there looking through her receipt, and then she's looking back in her bag, and she's looking at, God bless her, she's probably checking for every penny. I near ran my cart right through the back of her. I would have driven over her if she didn't move. And I'm sitting there just, so like I've never walked that fast. I walked to the car, and I'm like, okay, Mikhail, let's go. We got to go, right? And I'm trying to get home, and I caught every red light.
Yeah, that's how it always happens.
Every red light. I hit the stop sign to go to the next red light because it was red.
Oh, please don't.
And I couldn't get out, and then I got out in the red. Oh yeah.
You didn't go the street where like KFC and stuff was. Like you didn't go that way, did you? Or did you go on the upper street?
No, I went that way.
Did you go on the King George Highway, or did you go on the one below it?
Pleasant.
Oh, you mean the slowest light in all of Newcastle?
Yes, Cameron, the slowest light. So by the time I get to Kingsway and I can turn left at those lights, I am now contemplating and saying out loud to my son, do you suppose I could pull over and just go over the guardrail?
It was right there. Oh, Kingsway was close.
I honestly contemplated it. And then the whole way home, I'm just sitting there. And Mikhail, like, you know how you get to the point of it hurts? Like, it hurts. You know what I mean? And Mikhail is dying laughing. Like, I have never seen him. You know, do you know what I mean? And then it was like
Mikhail is acting exactly how the three of us would have with you. So
fair. And like I remember, like when I hit about the hospital, there was a car going real slow in front of me, and then that car pulled in, and I went around, and right by the like the animal hospital, like the mirror, and Mikhail was laughing again. I can remember it. It was a little blue Kia Soul. Doing 40 in the 60,
of course,
because there's snow everywhere, right? So they're probably nervous, and they're doing 40, and I didn't say it. Like,
40.
I am no longer talking. I am sitting there like, Like, hold on to my gun. And Mikhail out loud goes, "Of course." I'm right up behind her.
Oh
kicked
man,
you,
you are the North and South Korean border. I mean, if you're
Yep.
just like waiting
Yep.
to shoot someone who tries to defect,
Oh, yeah.
like
So we got to our subdivision. I pulled up that street. It hadn't been plowed. I like snow mowed, half fishtailing the whole way up. The neighbors must have thought I was crazy. I pulled in the garage and like I almost left the car outside. And I pulled in the garage. I jumped out, put it in park. I don't even know if I shut the car off. I said to Mikhail, "You get it." And I ran in the door. And Amanda's at the door like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Gotta go."
And
Anyway,
honestly, in my
boys.
head, all I hear is 1 hour later.
Not only did I make it in time, but I now feel like I could do anything I put my mind to. Yeah. Also might be the most embarrassing story I've ever told on here. So. I guess it would have been more embarrassing if I had to actually crapped myself. You know
I
what
was going to say, it
I did
turned
not.
out all right. Yeah. There's a few
All
one
turned out in the
percenters
end.
that don't make it.
No, there's stories out there of people. There was a certain basketball player in an NBA game the other day, and they were wearing white shorts.
Oh,
Oh,
He-
really?
Oh, yeah. Look that up. Jimmy Butler.
Oh, dear. I don't
He
know
had
if
to
I
go.
wanna-
Like someone must have said something to him and he left.
oh, that's nasty.
Yeah. So on a scale from 1 to Jimmy Butler, you know, I'm
Oh wow, that's wild.
Yep.
I want to
Yeah.
go back to that Sobeys parking lot because there was some guy there waiting for his wife sitting in the car.
You saw the whole thing.
Look at this guy.
Yeah. So true.
and
What is he
So
doing?
true.
Just darting out of there.
not to have like another episode of parking lots because we don't have time. But if I ever wanted some like material for that segment we do, I could just sit in that parking lot. Cameron knows
Yes.
what I'm talking about. People
100%.
invent parking spots over there.
Yeah,
Like there's 4 double lines, there's 2 cart corrals, there's lots of room in the front that if you drove over and turned around, you could wait for someone there. You're not in anyone's way, but no, let's park right out front. Let's invent a spot right here. And now 2 cars can't pass each other because you had to sit right there. It's all the time. All the time.
It's in the wintertime when you get that layer of ice and snow that kind of covers the lines.
yeah.
Everyone just forgets where parking
Yep.
spaces
But how?
might be.
You just
You know you're too close to the building. Like when you're like, "Oh, I think there's a spot here," and you get out and look down. Yeah, 1.5 cars could fit through here. You're too close to the building. It's I can't wrap my head around it. Can't wrap my head around it. Anyway, yeah, but that was my weekend, and then shoveled again, right? Like shoveling.
That is
shoveling.
that's a perfect way to end this one, boys. That's
That
perfect
is.
way to end this. I'm just glad everything turned out all right.
well in the end.
Did Amanda know that the groceries were going to be so late? Like, was she mad?
Well, I had called her when he said I don't need a drive because Mikhail texted her real quick because like young lads in the car, you don't want to have an awkward conversation in front of them and be like, "Well, the group didn't leave when they said they were going to leave. It's not really their fault. I didn't tell them they had to leave, and it's also not their
Right.
fault because someone else should have been there." You know what I mean? Like, so it's not.
I know what
They
you-
thought they were good, so I can't be mad at them. But then I didn't know he had
Yeah,
to go
I
to
see what
work,
you're
and then so Mikhail was trying to text her, keep her updated because it was one of those deals. Like when all was said and done, I said to Mikhail, like, we can't be mad at anybody.
No,
It's all like
just-
misunderstandings and wires crossed and everything. Do you know what I mean? But it was the perfect storm of like, because like
It
this
was
is how in
literally the
tune.
perfect storm.
Oh man,
Yeah.
2 storms, and this is how in tune I am. Like, if I knew I wasn't leaving till much later, I don't have those hot dogs. I'm not kidding. I don't do it.
Yeah, like I said, you want home field advantage for those kind of
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
2 gas station hot dogs and black coffee.
What could possibly go wrong?
Not,
Sure, that could
not bad,
backfire.
not bad for a gas station hot dog.
Yeah,
No.
that was it.
Yeah,
Not
we said
bad
that.
for
Not
gas.
bad for gas. I was like,
Podcast
yeah, just
title.
like a Japanese bullet train.
Oh, that is the podcast title.
All right.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Never again.
it's too good.
Never again.
No, he says that, and he's gonna do it again.
I don't know if I will. That was bad enough.
Man, that's a t-shirt too. Not bad for a gas station hot dog. What a
Yeah.
t-shirt. That's
I
a
can
good
make
t-shirt.
that happen. I can make that happen.
Have the door just cracked.
I'll come up with something. So, jokes aside, as we end, we very, very, very recently started TikTok, and I'm not a TikTok guy. I've yet to scroll through TikTok. I don't know how this works.
I didn't know we made a deal with the Chinese.
I've never used it. I don't even have the app.
Every time I click on it, we have someone else following us. So, like in the last 72 hours, we went from 28 followers to almost 200.
What?
So, like, I posted a couple funny videos, and I posted, I guess, ever since the U.S. tariff thing, Canadian TikTokers have decided, well, let's all follow each other. Very best. You know what I mean? Kind of like that's what. So I posted a thing and said, we're Canadian, and like, you know what I mean? You follow us, we'll follow you, and put the Canadian flag on our thing, and all of a sudden, yeah, like you can't see this. This is
nice work.
These are all new followers since we went online, and I've actually cleared this out a couple times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new followers in the last 30 minutes. It's just like
that's wild.
You can look us up on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We really don't care about X anymore. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook.
Man, I got rid of my account.
I just couldn't be bothered.
I'm not dealing with that guy.
Jeepers. No, I might go deactivate because I have one.
Blue
and then
Sky now.
I'll go get rid of that. And then I have Threads. We have a Threads account too. But so we're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you want to check us out, any of those, that'd be great. Jokes aside about the t-shirts, we've got some, I think, really funny t-shirts on the t-shirt store. If people want to, as if anyone made it this far into the podcast, if they want to go check that out. So we got the Hitting the Sauce gravy shirt. We have the Canadian Meat-Based Sauce Coalition gravy shirt. We have the Gravy Czar gravy shirt. We have the skunk shirt. A lot of these are just inspired by Cameron. I did add a Pedersen, Vancouver Canucks Pedersen bunch shirt. You know what I mean? We can't use our logo, but we have a new shirt the guys haven't seen yet, so I'm telling them this now. We have a new Canada Maple Leaf shirt with Mitch Marner's pose after scoring the winning goal in overtime against Sweden. We got that shirt up there too.
Oh, is that right?
Nicely
yes,
done.
we did. I mean, it's Mitch Marner's likeness.
No, it's a hockey player's likeness.
So we'll keep periodically adding shirt, and I guess not bad for a gas station hot dog shirt needs to be made.
that is king.
Well, we're trying to make shirts that whether you like the podcast or not, that if the shirt's funny, maybe people will want it, right? That's what we're trying to do. So
yeah, 100%.
Just keep an eye out for all those things. Like, subscribe, follow, all that stuff. We really appreciate all the support. Cool. With Cameron's dad's snowblower.
Just cover the spread.
Savior of the world.
In the snowblower we trust.
Cameron out snowblowing accidentally chucks a rock into space and saves the universe.
You just wasted some of your life listening to the Bush League podcast. You must stop what you're doing right now. Like and subscribe and leave a 5-star rating. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and like us on Facebook.